why building equity is stealing your best years to actually get rich. Work hard, buy a house, build equity, watch your net worth grow. It sounds so logical, so safe, so responsible, and it's one of the biggest financial traps of our generation. Today, I'm going to show you why the traditional equity building strategy is costing you the best wealth building years of your life, and what the actually wealthy do instead. Let me describe someone you probably know. Maybe it's you. They're 32 years old. They saved up for years to put together a down payment. They bought a house because that's what adults do. Now they spend 60% of their income on mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. They're building equity. They're doing everything right. And in 20 years, they'll have a paid-off house worth maybe double what they paid. Meanwhile, their neighbor who rented a modest apartment and invested the difference now has a portfolio worth 3 times that house. Same income, same starting point, completely different outcome. The only difference was how they defined building wealth. If you've ever felt stuck in the equity trap, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Every week I break down the financial games being played against you and show you how to actually win. I'm Santos, and this channel exists to make sure you stop being the one who pays. Here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Equity is not wealth. Equity is trapped capital. It's money you technically own but can't access without selling, borrowing against it, or waiting decades. And while you're waiting, the real wealth-building opportunities are passing you by. Let me break down why building equity. The traditional way destroys your wealth potential, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons that will change how you see home ownership and equity forever. Reason number 1. The opportunity cost is devastating. Every dollar locked in your house is a dollar not working for you in the market. Let's run the numbers. The average home appreciates at 3 to 4% annually. After inflation, that's basically breaking even. The stock market has averaged 10% returns over the last century. Let's say you put $100,000 into a house versus the market. In 30 years at 4%, your home equity grows to $324,000. In 30 years at 10% in the market, that same $100,000 becomes $1.7 million. Read that again. The difference is over $1.3 million. That's not a rounding error. That's a life-changing amount of money. And it gets worse. While your house sits there slowly appreciating, you're also paying interest, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs. The true cost of home ownership is 40 to 50% higher than the mortgage payment alone. None of that builds equity. None of that builds wealth. It just evaporates. Reason number 2. Your best earning years are being wasted. Here's something most financial advisors won't tell you. The money you invest in your 20s and 30s is worth 10 times more than money invested in your 50s. Because of compound interest, early dollars have decades to multiply. When you tie up all your capital in a house at 30, you're sacrificing your most powerful wealth-building years. The average homeowner puts 90% of their net worth into their home. 90%. That means 90% of their wealth is sitting in a single, illiquid, slowly appreciating asset. Meanwhile, diversified investors are compounding across multiple asset classes: growth stocks, index funds, real estate investment trusts, international markets. Their money is working around the clock, in every market, in every time zone. Your money is sitting in the walls of your house, doing absolutely nothing. Reason number 3. Liquidity is the real wealth. Here's a test. If you needed $200,000 in the next 30 days, could you get it? If your wealth is in home equity, the answer is probably no. You'd have to sell your house, which takes months, or take out a home equity loan, which means paying interest on your own money, or refinance, which costs thousands in fees. Real wealth means having access to your money when opportunities arise. When the market crashes and stocks are on sale, liquid investors buy. When a business opportunity appears, liquid investors can act. When an emergency happens, liquid investors are protected. Equity investors? They watch opportunities pass while their wealth sits trapped in drywall and concrete. Think about March 2020. The market dropped 30% in weeks. Stocks were on sale everywhere. Liquid investors bought aggressively at the bottom. Within 18 months, they had doubled their money. People with all their wealth in home equity? They couldn't do anything. They watched the opportunity of a decade pass them by. That's the real cost of illiquidity. It's not just about safety. It's about being able to act when everyone else is frozen. Reason number 4, you're betting everything on one asset. Every financial expert will tell you to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Then those same experts will encourage you to put your entire net worth into a single house, in a single neighborhood, in a single city. How does that make sense? When you build equity the traditional way, you're making a massive concentrated bet. If your local market crashes, you lose. If the neighborhood declines, you lose. If a factory closes or a major employer leaves town, you lose. The 2008 housing crisis wiped out trillions in home equity. Millions of Americans who thought they were building wealth discovered they had built nothing. Their equity vanished overnight. Meanwhile, diversified investors who held index funds recovered within a few years and went on to new highs. Reason number 5, the math simply doesn't work anymore. The house your parents bought worked because it cost 2 times their annual income. Today, the median home costs over 5 times the median income. Housing has become a speculation asset, not a wealth-building tool. When your parents bought a house, they could pay it off in 15 years and invest the rest. Today, people are taking 30-year mortgages and still barely affording the payments. The leverage that made housing attractive now works against you. You're paying interest for 3 decades. You're locked into payments that prevent other investments. And by the time you finally own it free and clear, you're in your 60s with a paid-off house but no portfolio. You'll be house rich and cash poor. That's not financial freedom. That's a trap with better marketing. So if building equity the traditional way doesn't work, what do the actually wealthy do instead? The wealthy understand something most people don't. Cash flow beats equity every single time. They don't focus on building equity. They focus on building income-producing assets. An investment that pays you monthly is worth more than an investment that might pay you in 30 years. Here's the shift you need to make. Instead of locking money in a house, invest in dividend-paying stocks or funds. $100,000 in dividend stocks paying 4% gives you $4,000 a year in passive income. That income can be reinvested to compound faster than any house. Instead of a single property, invest in real estate investment trusts. You get exposure to real estate appreciation and income without the maintenance, without the illiquidity, without the concentration risk. Instead of a 30-year mortgage, consider renting and investing the difference. I know this sounds crazy, but run the numbers for your specific situation. In many high-cost areas, renting and investing beats buying by hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. The key insight is this: the wealthy don't build equity. They build cash flow machines that generate income whether they work or not. Every dollar should be producing more dollars. A house doesn't do that. Income-producing investments do. Let me tell you about the shift that happens when you stop building equity and start building real wealth. Before the shift, you feel like you're doing everything right. You have a house. Your net worth looks good on paper. But you're stressed. You can't invest because all your money goes to the mortgage. You can't take risks because you need to make the payment. You're trapped in a job you hate because you can't afford to leave. Your wealth exists, but you can't use it. You're technically a homeowner, but you feel owned by your home. After the shift, everything changes. Your money starts working for you. Dividends arrive monthly. Your portfolio compounds. You have liquidity for opportunities. You can take calculated risks because you're not over-leveraged in one asset. You have options, freedom, flexibility. That's real wealth. Not a number on a property assessment. Real, spendable, usable wealth. Let me give you a concrete example. 2 people, same income, same starting point at age 30. Person A does it the traditional way, puts $50,000 down on a $300,000 house, pays $2,000 a month on mortgage, taxes, and insurance for 30 years. At 60, they have a paid-off house worth $600,000. Total investment, $770,000 including down payment and all payments. Net position, negative $170,000 plus a house. Person B rents for $1,500 a month and invests $1,000 a month, the difference plus what would have been the down payment. At 7% returns, they have $1.4 million in liquid, accessible wealth at 60. Not equity, real money. Person B has more than double the wealth, and they can access it anytime. They can retire early. They can travel. They can give to causes they care about. They can help their kids. Person A has a house and Social Security. And here's the painful part. Person A will probably have to sell that house eventually to fund their retirement. They'll downsize into an apartment, the same type of apartment Person B was renting all along. Except Person B has $1.4 million in the bank, and Person A has whatever's left after real estate fees and moving costs. Same income, same discipline, completely different financial outcome. The only variable was the strategy. So, what should you actually do? Here's the framework. Step 1. Calculate the true cost of home ownership in your area. Include mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and opportunity cost. Be honest about the numbers. Step 2. Compare that to renting plus investing the difference. Use a 7% return assumption. Calculate over 20 and 30 years. Let the math guide you, not emotions or societal expectations. Step 3. If you do buy, never put more than 30% of your net worth in your primary residence. Keep liquid investments growing alongside any property. Step 4. Prioritize income-producing assets. Dividend funds, REITs, bonds, businesses, anything that pays you while you sleep. Step 5. Reframe your goal. You're not trying to build equity, you're trying to build financial freedom. Those are very different things. And here's a bonus step. Stop measuring success by what you own. Start measuring it by what your assets produce. Ask yourself every month, how much passive income did my investments generate? That number matters more than any home appraisal. Because that number is real money you can spend, reinvest, or use to buy your freedom. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The build equity advice worked for your parents' generation. It doesn't work today. Housing costs have outpaced income growth. The math has changed. The economy has changed. But the advice hasn't caught up. You're following a playbook written for a game that no longer exists. The financial industry loves the equity trap. Banks make money on mortgages. Real estate agents make money on sales. Everyone profits when you lock your wealth into a house except you. The actually wealthy know this. They use debt strategically. They stay liquid. They diversify. They build cash flow. They don't worship at the altar of home equity. That's a religion for the middle class to keep them working, paying interest, and staying trapped. Your best wealth-building years are happening right now. Every month you pour money into building equity instead of building real investments, you're falling behind. Not by a little, by a lot. The compound effect of this decision stretches across decades. You can't get your 20s back. You can't get your 30s back. But you can make different choices starting today. You can stop playing a game rigged against you and start playing the game the wealthy actually play. Real wealth isn't a paid-off house. Real wealth is options, freedom, the ability to say yes to opportunities and no to obligations. That requires liquidity, cash flow, diversification, none of which you get by building equity the traditional way. Your future is being decided right now. Every dollar you invest in assets that grow and produce income is a vote for your financial freedom. Every dollar trapped in equity is a vote for staying stuck. The system wants you building equity, buying houses you can barely afford, staying in jobs you hate to make payments, spending your best years as a debt servant, calling it building wealth. That's not wealth building, that's wealth extraction, disguised as responsibility. If this video showed you what the equity trap is really costing you, subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, I break down the financial games being played against you and show you exactly how to win. Drop a comment and tell me, are you stuck in the equity trap, or have you found a different path? I read every single comment. I'm Santos. And your wealth-building years? They're happening right now. Don't waste them building someone else's definition of success.